a variation of gap-fill questions. Gap-fill questions with options given or a list of words given from which you have to select the answer. So you don't have to find the word from the passage. You're given a list of words and phrases to choose from for the blank. These questions are more common in IELTS Reading Academic, and they're usually more difficult than gap-fill questions without any options given, because in this case, you need to first figure out what the answer should be from the passage and then select something from the provided options that means the same. The answers to these questions could be slightly out of order as compared to the information in the text, but they are from one part of the passage, which means you can expect to find all the answers from within 2 to 3 paragraphs. In the case of pen and paper IELTS, you have to write the correct letter in the answer. So every option that you are given has a letter before it, A, B, C, D, and so on. You have to write the correct letter in your answer sheet. Whereas in the case of computer-delivered IELTS, you have to drag and drop the correct option in the blank. Here's a step-by-step method for approaching these questions. Glance at the questions for location key information. That is, identify the location keywords, words and phrases that help you find where the answer might be in the passage. Scan the passage to figure out the tentative location of the answer in the passage. Then reread the first part of the question carefully. It's essential that you understand it thoroughly. Don't just search for keywords. Remember, the language in the question is usually simpler than the language in the passage. Once you have understood the question, read the part of the passage carefully where you expect the answer to be. Remember that the information in one sentence in the question can be spread over 2 or more sentences in the passage, and vice versa. So you may need to read 2 to 3 sentences to figure out the answer. Once you know what should go in the blank, start going through the options. If you are having difficulty identifying the correct answer, start eliminating the impossible answers from the list of possible answers given. Some of the given words may not fit into the sentence at all. Finally, try to find synonyms in the text for as many words in the question as possible to confirm your answer. One additional tip here is that it can be beneficial to recognize whether you're looking for a noun or an adjective. The list of options typically includes nouns, adjectives, or 2-word combinations of an adjective and a noun. If it's a 2-word option, start by focusing on the noun part first and see if it fits in the blank. Let's look at a couple of examples now. These are the questions we'll be working on. The first thing we do is identify location key information. In the first sentence of the questions, which does not have a blank, we have the word parliamentarian capitalized and also a number 1649. And we can also see other capitalized words and 1651 in the passage. Keeping these in mind, I scan the passage. In the passage, in the very first paragraph, I see 1651, then 1649, and then 1651 mentioned again. Parliamentarians are mentioned in the sentence that is 1649. Scots are mentioned soon after that. So I'm expecting the answer from this sentence or after this. Now that I have an idea where the answers are expected to be from, I read the first question. Charles II's father was executed by the parliamentarian forces in 1649. Charles II then formed a blank with the Scots. So what I have to find is, what did Charles II form with the Scots? Because of this before the blank, I know that I'm looking for a noun, and in the passage, the noun may have before it. In the passage, I found almost the exact first sentence from the question. After his father was executed by the parliamentarians in 1649. Later in the same sentence, Scots are also mentioned. The young Charles II sacrificed one of the very principles his father had died for and did a deal with the Scots. So Charles II did a deal with the Scots. I'm looking for a verb similar to formed, which is mentioned in the question. Did a deal means formed a deal. So the answer from the passage is deal. Charles II then formed a deal with the Scots. The next step now is identify the correct option. All the options that we are given are two-word phrases, an adjective followed by a noun. When looking for each of the answers, I'll focus on the noun first. Option H is strategic alliance. Deal means alliance. Strategic means well thought out or planned with the hope of gaining something. None of the other nouns, innovation, reward, conspiracy, etc., have a similar meaning as deal. If we continue reading the sentence in the passage, we see that the deal with the Scots was in return for being crowned King of Scots. So it was a strategic deal or a strategic alliance. Let's move on to the 28th question now. In order to become King of Scots, he abandoned an important blank that was held by his father. The answer to this is from the same sentence that we found the answer to the 27th from, and it is before the 27th answer. It says here, the young Charles II sacrificed one of the very principles his father had died for. Sacrificed is abandoned. So he abandoned an important principle that his father died for. And in the passage it says that he sacrificed the principle and accepted a religion as the national religion. Principle is conviction. So the answer to the 28th question is J, religious conviction. In the description of this video, you'll find link to a video in which all these questions are discussed in minute detail. Knowing the question types helps you decide which questions to do first and know the right technique for each question type. Basically, it helps you find answers quickly and correctly. Most of the question types have answers in the same order as the information in the text. In case of all of these question types, our target is always to look for location key information in the questions, scan the passage for the location of the answer, then read the question carefully, understand the question, and then focus on that part of the passage where we expect the answer to be. All the different methods of solving these question types that I've recommended in this video are just that, recommendations and suggestions. Obviously, your target is to find the answer. Practice a lot. See what method works the best for you. But certainly, knowing each question type well helps you identify that method for yourself. Most importantly, you need this knowledge of different question types to figure out which question type to do first. And finally, practice is crucial. However, just do not practice one test after another without pausing to understand why you made the mistakes that you did. So do a practice test, correct it, go back and figure out why you made every single mistake, and then move on to the next one. Just doing a lot of practice tests, one after another, may not help you improve your reading score. That's it for now. Hope this helped you. All the very best.